Meta's shares plunge by 89 billion among falling sales and rising costs. Another one, Meta, shares in Facebook owner dive 20% as investors lose faith. It seems that Meta's share prices have tumbled. And you can guess from that that investors don't believe in Mark Zuckerberg's future vision of the metaverse and VR. So, what's my take on that? More importantly, how does VR stack up for the future, especially when it comes to schools and to small businesses? Well, I'm not going to say how to run a multi-billion-dollar company. That's not for me. Although it does look like one of the reasons why the share prices are going down is because of the advertising revenue taking a hit. And that's totally separate to the VR world. What isn't separate to the VR world is what's the value of the metaverse? Well, the metaverse came about because of Neal Stephenson's book, Snow Crash. Excellent book, written decades ago. It was an early pioneer with the idea of what the metaverse is and how it could work. Sounded cool back then. Now, here's the deal. I am a user of VR. I own an Oculus Quest. This is the first version. I bought it because it had this, a USB cable connecting it to the computer. Why? Because VR is all about platforms and applications. So if you're thinking about should I be using anything to do with VR for my business or for my schools, the answer is what are the platforms and the applications that are on it? And that is what I believe is what's driving the metaverse and the down valuation. See, here's the thing. VR is great for games. I've played a whole bunch of games that are great. Asgard's Wrath, good one there. Driving games. If you've got steering wheel and a headset, fantastic. But is it the sort of thing where we want to put on and then talk to all of our work colleagues like this all day? Hell no. Zoom, Teams, and other things like that already suck. Why would we want to add an extra heavy piece of weight so that we can see worse graphics than a camera? So that we can see disembodied, badly waving around, crappy avatars like the sort of things we got in the early 2000s. And that's the reality of it. The whole metaverse concept is this idea that we're going to strap on heavy headsets and go meet with each other. No. As Phil Spencer of Microsoft's gaming division said, they've already been making persistent worlds where people meet, join up, and do things together. They communicate, they collaborate, they get social. That's called gaming. People have been gaming for decades. And they do it far better. With the graphics are outstandingly better. So, are we going to be doing VR anytime soon? No. There are a couple of niche applications for that. Surgery is always one that's quoted. It's always in the news. Oh, doctors can perform practice surgeries on VR. Yeah, whatever. The best example of actual real usage of headsets is the Microsoft HoloLens, which is actually not VR, it's AR, it's augmented reality. You get to see the parts that you're looking at, and it overlays what you're looking at and which parts, and it can get the manual for those parts that you're looking at, and you can circle it and then talk to a help desk person. Cool. If you're a teacher thinking about VR, it's all about gaming for now. Until a killer app on top of a solid platform comes out, it's not useful right now. And at the moment, I'm an avid user of VR. Actually, truth be told, I'm no longer an avid user of VR because the reality is that there's not a lot of games that are being made for that. And there's even less business applications being made. It looks like developers aren't going towards the VR platforms. And there's Steam and HTC and Oculus and all this stuff. So when a developer writes for something, are they going to write for a PlayStation or an Oculus or a Steam or something like that? At the moment, until there's a huge installed base, until every one of you has one of these, developers aren't going to want to write for it. They're going to write for either mobiles or they're going to write for computers. Why? Because that's where the customers are. And unless they can come up with an amazing application for something that solves a real and true human or business need. Nobody's going to want to strap on a heavy thing and look at crappy avatars all day when already they've got Zoom fatigue.